Time for yet another BW3 podcast. It is brought to you by Algire Performance and by Schaefer's Oil, brought to you also by Swino Visuals. Kevin Stubblefield, Brennan Willard in studio once again today as getting ready to go racing down south.
Hopefully. But no, headed to, supposed to be a 3-day weekend, but supposed to be Fulton, Farmington, Quincy. Quincy has got so much rain that they're not even able to get anybody in the pits yet. And of
course, that's right on the river.
Yes, 100%. And they've not been able to get anybody in all year. And Fulton's had a lot of rain as well. And with the weather forecast, they canceled early, which was good. I mean, it was kind of it's a 100% chance of rain on Friday. So hopefully Farmington's pits can take the rain and we'll be good to go. That's we're all itching to go and trying to get everything kind of finished up on our second car, and we've been really thrashing on it the last few weeks. And so hopefully we get to go to Farmington, new racetrack for me. Drove by it 100 times, but never been there. Well,
is the backup ready to go yet?
Close. Not racing on Friday. It should be done. We got to put seatbelts in and mount the seat. So other than that, and then set up. But the plan is obviously, hopefully we don't need it, but we'll kind of get it close to being set up and ready to go. And we weren't planning on honestly running that car till the Show Me 100, but we'll see what happens. If we can get it done, we'll load it in the front of the trailer and then go hopefully play in the dirt at Farmington this weekend.
I-44 Speedway had their season opener last Saturday at 42 cars total.
24 Crown Vics and 10 or 12 street stocks. So really good car counts there. I knew a lot of late models were not going to be there with the weather, and people were just not done. It's crazy, which we weren't either. We had planned on going to that race, but with our backup car being we're second in points in MLRA, so really wanted to have my backup car done. And I just told my crew guys, like, they're just got to take priority right now with what we got. And but hopefully we'll have time next week to get our pavement car back out and get it buttoned up, put together. We got a few things we needed to change after the last race last year, and so that's got to be done, and we got to test a little bit before. But Dylan Bates was crazy fast. I think he timed in a 1460, so he was really, really good in his Newport City, and they've been working really, really hard, and so happy for them. Trent Masters run second. It was a good run for him. And Cabe run third in Steve Holt's old car, so it's just awesome seeing that car back out there. But Cabe's from California, very talented. He won the Crown Vic race.
Cabe McClinney, he's from Bakersfield.
Bakersfield's a very talented young kid. His family moved here, and a lot of talent. Won a track championship, I think, last year at Bakersfield in late models. So he will be, the late model field, I think, is going to be a lot different. I'm not running them all. Dylan's not running them all. When, I feel like Dylan's kind of the favorite, obviously, and our car better be good. We should be right there with him. And these other guys have just really stepped their programs up and gotten a lot better. And, Cabe and Trenton Masters, Jimmy Phone, those guys are going to be tough to beat and should be fast. So it's going to be a fun couple of weeks there. There's a really good 3-week stretch for us trying to hit at least 2 of the 3 on pavement at I-44 is our plan. So they got a good stretch of racing coming up. Aaron said the crowd was massive, so that's awesome to see. The weather was terrible, and for tier parking to be full, the grandstands to be full, that's saying something right there.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool, chilly day for sure on Saturday. Jim Rubel night is next at I-44 Speedway. That's their next race, so look forward to that.
That'll be cool. I know the Bruce Hanley race is coming up in July, and we've really got that one marked on our calendar as well. So a lot of big races coming up there, and it's cool to see. Like the crowd was good, and Aaron, when everybody was happy with that. And anytime you have 24 of any cars in any class, it's a big deal. And so it's good to see that class just continuing to grow. And I think he said 30 is his magic number to split the field, and I think he's going to get there.
No doubt. Gary Barrows of Gravois Mills, he won the Chargers race. He's a long-time driver at I-44 Speedway.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably... He won in the 90s. I remember him years ago. So awesome to see him get a win in the Charger class. And cool to see that. Michael Jorgensen, very, very dominant again in a street stock, but that was a great race. I watched a lot of it online, and it was a good race to watch. So just a really good field of cars in that class and really good racing in that class.
As far as the area goes, 103 cars at Springfield on Saturday, so another good crowd there.
Yep. Jerry just keeps on going. I know they had a lot of tech. There's been a lot of people complaining about tech and lack of tech in area racetracks. So Hoffman brought out the old puffer and everybody passed. So that's good. I like seeing that. It's just such a fine line on tech, and people just want to, if you're working hard and your car's running good, you got to be cheating, right? And everybody's in the gray area and everything they can be, but there's certain things that you cannot cheat on, and nobody's going to cheat on if they're smart, and that's one of them. So awesome to see he checked it, and hopefully he don't have to deal with that much longer. People on the internet griping because they're not running good instead of working on the race car.
Lucas Oil Speedway, they had the wing sprints in on Saturday, a total of 43. Kerry Madsen of Knoxville, Iowa, he won the feature race.
So Kerry's actually from Australia.
Is that right?
Yes, and man, he's got to be. They said his age on Door Bumper Clear this week, but he's got to be mid-40s or late 40s, early 50s. And that was a high-limit race. Huge crowd. Great to see that. Hats off to Schumann and everybody. It's a good race. I was flipping back and forth on TV Saturday night between watching that, and then Jonathan Davenport won at Volunteer, and the $130,000 payday for him on Saturday night at Vic Hill's place. So what a night for him, a week really for him. But
yeah, his bank account's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, he won 27 at Wheatland and 137 at Volunteer the very next week. So glad we don't have to race against him for a while. I'm assuming he was going to go to Talladega. That's been rained out. I haven't looked at his schedule, but I doubt very seriously he's going to Delaware for Lucas Oil races up Delaware, Maryland, up in there, Pennsylvania, Delaware. I joke around. There's super speedway racing this weekend, big, which makes sense. It's Talladega weekend for NASCAR, but big racetracks up there, a big half-mile, 5/8 mile tracks. Lucas Oil Series is going to up there.
Kerry Madsen, young guy to me in his 40s, but an old veteran when it comes to racing now, right?
And what's cool, though, Davenport's my age, and Madsen's older than me, and I feel like I'm one of the old guys now, and it's just like bugs me. And but if you watch even the Cup Series, the guys in their 30s, Denny Hamlin had another race, won really. He's quite a bit older than me, and like you watch, and I really think people are getting better as drivers in their. I feel like your prime as a race car driver is 30 to 46, right in there, and really 35 to 46. Where I feel like you're your best. Your vision and your reflexes may go away a little bit at 40, but your knowledge and your racecraft is so much better than it was when you're 20 that it just really shows.
Better situation than baseball players. Major League, 28 to 32 is their peak.
Yes.
And then it's downhill after that, even though your understanding of the game and the concepts and everything improve, your physical skills go away. But that's not the case when it comes to racing.
It's not. And, the old saying, Father Time's undefeated. And I remember Albert Pujols, the Cardinals did the right thing with him and didn't sign that long-term contract, and the Angels got him. And it was crazy. When you said 28 to 32 in baseball, you want to not believe that. Look at Pujols. Look at Ken Griffey Jr. Like, they were so good, and they were still great, but not the numbers that they had. It just declines. And Dale Earnhardt won a lot of his championships in his 40s. He was 51 or 50 49 or 50 when he passed away. Going to be 50 that year, I guess. So he won, several championships in his 40s. So that shows you kind of, 2 of his 7 he won in his 40s, and he would have been 40 when he won his, would have been his 5th championship. So, you're really in racing. It seems like that is your sweet spot. I think Denny Hamlin's in the prime of his career, and I really look at, and when you talk to racing, you look at Ty Gibbs, dominant in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and it took him 120 some races to win. Connor Zilic is so good. like so good. Goes back down and wins in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, but I think they're 30th in points. Now their cars aren't good. If your car's not good, it matters. But just takes a long time anymore that you almost wonder. I don't even count like a Shane Van Gisbergen because like he's a guy that come to a street course and a road course guy that's like generational talent on a road course that's just probably going to go out and kick their butt in San Diego. Like he's just so good on a road course. But the days of a rookie winning in the Cup Series, I think are gone. Like, I really do. Tony Stewart won a couple. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won a couple. Like there was guys that won races, but I don't see that anymore. I think it's just everybody's so good at what they do, and you're doing college baseball now. I promise you, the college baseball players right now are 10 times better than they were when I was playing, and I see it. I see it in my son at 12 years old. I see it. My daughter had volleyball camp this week, and I'm watching, and she's 8 years old, never played a lick of volleyball in her life. And I'm watching these girls that are about a year or two older, and I can see that they've been playing, and you go from, I don't care if it's racing, if it's baseball, whatever it is, people are playing at a younger age and getting good at a younger age.
They're playing at a higher level.
100%. And like, we watch guys, I look at Ty Majeski. I remember he was the first guy that I raced against personally that was iRacing, and he was an iRacing champion or whatever you want to call that. He's out of this world good at iRacing. Dylan Bates, still to this day, crazy good on iRacing. Trenton Masters races iRacing a lot. And when I went a couple weeks ago to the racetrack and I helped Trenton on his car and just tried to help him with some things, what I noticed is he was consistent. Like his lap times were within half a tenth every lap for 20 laps. Well, to me, that's, if somebody's a good race car driver, they can hit that lap after lap after lap. Now there's a Kyle Larson that can get a half a tenth on the field every lap. You know what I mean? But it's just so much more disciplined and specialized now that, racing's just in the same thing as every other sport in the world. And it's just elevated to a new level.
I saw the last couple of laps of the NASCAR race at Kansas. That was quite a finish, wasn't it?
It really was.
You thought Kyle Larson had it, and then Tyler Reddick, here he comes again. He
has another gear on the last couple of laps and can do things. I was going to say, Kyle Larson is, I feel like, the greatest driver of our generation. I never will forget. So the second year I was racing dirt was 2021, and we went to Alltech, to Lake City, Florida, the first Lucas Oil race of the year that I went to. It wasn't the first one of the year, but so we go down to Alltech, and I wasn't even going to race, but my car was there. We were there. Everything's ready, so we decided to race. Don't make the show, and Tony was racing that night, and I was like, well, let's go in the infield, and I wanted to go in the infield, and I was wanting to watch. Kyle Larson won that race by like 15 or 16 seconds. It was crazy. He was in Rumley's car, and he was like, it was the biggest butt kicking I've ever seen in my life. It really was. I remember watching it, and I still have it on my phone because I slow-moed it. So I was trying to figure out what he was doing that everybody else wasn't doing. And you could see it. When you put it in slow-mo on your phone, you could watch, you could see his wheel spin, you could see his brakes, you could see everything better. And he's so good. Like, his talent is beyond, out of this world. For Tyler Reddick to get up on the wheel and just drive around him like that is pretty awesome to see. And those guys just did a great job of, we just talked about Denny Hamlin. Like, Denny was a sitting duck, and he kind of knew it. And there wasn't anything he could do about it because those two just knew how to take advantage of the air and do the things that they needed to do and come out on top. But I love Kansas. I think it's a great racetrack. I don't know what NASCAR is going to do about not having any cautions. And nobody wants to see a wreck. But you got to have a natural yellow. And I don't know if they need to throw a debris, do something, shorten the races, something. Like, the O'Reilly Auto Parts races are phenomenal. They're doing so good. Their ratings are out of this world. The excitement, they freaking flipped on lap one. Like, every race in those cars is so good. And the Cup Series, like you said, you watched the last couple laps and it was an awesome race. the poll on Jeff Gluck's poll was like 50-50 or 49-51, yes or no to yes. There's no yellows. And for the people in the stands, 3 hours, it was less than 3 hours because it went so fast, but 2 hours and 40-some minutes, and the yellow coming to the white flag. I mean, for that to happen, it's just the cars are harder to drive than they ever have been, but there's no mechanical failures. And it's just different racing now. And I don't know what's good or bad. You know, baseball's changed. Some would argue for the good or bad. I don't know. I feel like baseball's better because it goes by faster. But NASCAR's going to have to do something. And you have to let the race play out. Like, one of the bad part about the stage breaks is you can't have a fuel strategy. And I feel like maybe they shorten the third stage a little bit, if that's an option, to where it's not the longest stage. I don't know. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure you have one green flag stop in your last stage. That is what they're trying to do. Get 20 laps on the other side of that fuel window in some way, shape, or form and do it that way, I guess. I don't know. They're going to have to do something with stage breaks because there's not going to be natural yellows. It's just not going to happen. Nobody's going to tear up. Nobody's going to break. It's just these cars are great. They're bulletproof, and the teams are better. So it's just different.
Yeah, you don't see the motors going up in smoke anymore, do you?
No, and if you go look, Mike Wallace called me yesterday, and we talked about nothing to do with racing. Then we got on to racing, and I said, Mike, I remember watching you in Jenny Donlevy's car, and that was if you finish on the lead lap in that car and finish 15th, that was like a win. You had done something, because that car was it just wasn't it wasn't a front running team. And back then, a Childress, Junior Johnson car, like, it wasn't one of those cars. And, but they do double file restarts in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And you remember they do the lap cars on the inside and the leaders on the outside. And what got me on this was I was scrolling through Twitter, and this Tim Richmond deal comes up from 86. It was in-car reporting. And you remember Tim Richmond, like, you got to see him. I was so young, I didn't get to see him. My dad always told me how good he was. So I went back and watched the ESPN documentary and watched this. And he was in race reporting, and they were just interviewing him under yellow. It went back green, and he was still talking. Well, he talked him through a lap. And it was really cool. And it was at North Wilkesboro or Martin. It was a short track. I can't remember what short track. And, but you watch, and there's all these slow cars on the inside, and they're moving chicanes. They're so far off the pace that you're like watching it and you're going, what? Like, now, and it was exciting. But I'm watching it was Twitter. So it's a 1 minute clip. And I'm watching this and I'm going, we don't have lap traffic anymore in the cup races. You don't. You got 30 cars finishing on the lead lap. Now, Kansas was different because it went so far so green. When they put them lap cars to the inside and on a restart, it was chaos. And really, when you watched, I watched every race at Vic Hill's place at Volunteer last weekend, and when they got to lap traffic and the features and it was slick, it was good racing. It was very, very hard racing. You had to make decisions to figure out what line to go. And that just, the art form of that and what made the good race in Dale Earnhardt's era is still the same. It's just getting to lap traffic now takes longer. And I think our patience isn't there. So it's just wild to see how racing's changed like that, but you were a fan back then. I mean, there was 5 cars in lead lap in NASCAR back in the day. And I bet at the fairgrounds, was people getting lapped then too, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just different. So the race cars are better. The drivers are better because they're specialized. They got more experience. They have more practice. You can go down and test on your iRacing rig whenever you want now. So to say that the racing's not as fun to watch, I disagree with that, but it's just different. And that's what we got to figure out.
Well, if you're down a lap now, it's usually due to penalty, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Or, like Kansas went a long run like that. You probably got down to 20 cars in the lead lap, 18, 20 cars in the lead lap. But now, most races, yes, it's a pit road speeding penalty, a loose wheel, something Where before, literally, if you finished on the lead lap, you had done something. And it's just different. And I remember the first trip I had to Pensacola, Florida, 11, 12 years ago, it was a 100-lap race, and it went green like that. And we were racing hard. We were racing for 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and the leader was coming. And we got told on the radio, leader's coming. And I remember how hard we raced because you knew that your day was done if you went a lap down. They still did a lucky dog, but like you don't want to take that chance. You know what I mean? And man, we raced so hard for that position. And, TV doesn't show it, but, we raced our guts out to, we caught a caution and stayed on the lead lap and got lucky, and it's just, those things. And so it's hard for TV to show that because they can't show everything. And that's when I tell everybody on dirt racing, you're a producer back in the studio. I don't care if it's Flow, Dirt Vision, Race On, whoever that producer is, to watch the battle for fifth makes that race good or bad for the product, for the TV viewer at home. Because if you're in person and you're in the grandstands, you can find a great race for position anytime you want. There's somewhere going on. It's hard for the TV to find it.
Mm-hmm. Taylor Gray won the O'Reilly race at Kansas. And as you said, Talladega is coming up on Sunday, and then go to Texas on May 3rd.
So they've got a pretty good little stretch coming up for them as well. So supposed to rain in Talladega tomorrow and Saturday. So that canceled the World of Outlaw race. That's the only reason I know it's supposed to rain is because of that. But so it could be an interesting weekend, what they do on the O'Reilly series. Cletus McFarland's running the ARCA race. Of course, they didn't get approved for the O'Reilly race, but I saw he's running the O'Reilly race at Nashville the end of May. So that's cool. Back with RCR, he'll get some laps there. He had a good run going Saturday in the ARCA race at Kansas, Blue Motor. The ARCA race at Kansas was really exciting to watch. Didn't really agree with necessarily how it went down, but very exciting to watch. And I just saw the finish of it. We were literally working in the shop and had the car and had the race on TV, but very exciting finish. And, ARCA's car count's up, and I've been very critical of ARCA to people, but their car count's up, and the racing's been very good the last few weeks. So hopefully it's on the upswing.
Back to your old stomping ground, Mara Series goes to Brownstown and Peoria this weekend. Comp Cams May 8th and 9th at Batesville, and they had the race at Poplar Bluff, and it was Morgan Bagley from Longview, Texas, who took that one.
Morgan was really good the last time Comp was at Poplar Bluff too. I don't remember if he might have won that. Him or Logan won that race, and we were up there battling with them, and that was the most frustrating night of ever it felt like. But it's good to see that they went back there. Kyle Beard won at old number 1 the other night, and I saw pictures of that crowd just standing room only, and that was awesome to see. So hopefully Poplar Bluff can get some more big races. They had terrible weather that night. It rained right before the races. So I hope they get another big late model race this year, and maybe they can capitalize on that and get it somewhere, get that place back going. It's kind of cool. We're going to Farmington this weekend. When I was going to college in Poplar Bluff, we would go to Peevely to watch the races a lot. And when you're driving down 67, you drive right past the racetrack there in Farmington. I never stopped. Never did. It always used to, I don't know if it still does, it has a sprint car on the sign. It was a huge sprint car track years ago. It used to be called St. Francis County, and now it's renamed Farmington Empire. So really a lot of history there. If you're a sprint car fan, this is like the place years ago. And they had World of Outlaw races. They've had everything there. So cool to see that we're going there. I know there's a lot of, weather's kind of up in the air, but if we do get to race, I know they'll have a great crowd and a lot of looking forward to, maybe going 2 or 3 more times to that place in the future with MLRA. So looking forward to that. Hate that for Fulton that they've had to cancel already, but I'm assuming that'll get made up. That's a great racetrack. They get a good crowd. So a lot of momentum for MLRA right now, and hopefully we can get this one in. And then I think we're off MLRA-wise until the end of May at Jerry's place the day after the Show Me. So a lot going on in the racing world, but it just kind of seems like it's spread out here series-wise the next couple weeks.
Noticed a lot of Southwest Missouri drivers running comp cams, including our buddy Jimmy Van Zandt.
Yeah, so comp pays really well. They pay $50,000 to win the points championship, and it's $10,000 for 10th. So it's an awesome payout. It's cool to see that they're doing that, and it just didn't. Ernie's got just such a good series. He always just runs a really, really good show. And that thing is, why Ernie gets so many cars is this: when you go to a comp race, why it happens, I don't know, but it's kind of a joke that the joke amongst the drivers, and it's not like making fun of them or anything. It's just the way that racing in the South is. Every comp show is a 2-day show, and I don't know why, but they don't start the feature after midnight. And that's for me with my family, with what we've got. The MLRA travel is so much better for us, and your feature is going to be on the racetrack at 9:30. And when you got an 8-year-old, she's going to get to watch that feature at 9:30. She's not going to get to watch the feature at midnight. Now, Braden, he'll stay up all night. It don't matter. But with his baseball schedule, he can't be up till 1 in the morning watching races anyways.
Right. All right. Keep nursing that voice back to 100%. And
hopefully we'll get to go to Farmington and get that. If not, we're off and get to focus on the pavement stuff. But got some things coming up on the show the next couple of weeks. I've been talking to some guests and looking forward to that. And really, don't forget, the push to get Larry Phillips in the Hall of Fame is going right now. And if we don't race this weekend, I have a feeling it's going to be a heavy focus next week.
That'll do it for the B-Dub3 podcast, brought to you by Schaefer's Oil and Algai Performance, produced and presented by Swino Visuals.